The death of the internal combustion engine seems to be on the horizon. Hyundai is cutting half of its lineup. We need to get into this. Over at Automotive News, Hyundai to cut ICE lineup, invest in more EVs, report says. The move will result in a 50% reduction in models powered by fossil fuels. Half of the lineup as we know it is going to be gone due to their shift in electrification. And in this video, we'll try to figure out which models are likely to be axed sooner rather than later. They say it's an important business move which first and foremost allows the release of R&D resources to focus on the rest, which are electric motors, batteries, fuel cells. Now, there's no time frame for the plan. I'm going to take a stab and say by 2030. That makes the most sense. Kind of like this decade of transition, as a lot of not only companies will be banning their ICE vehicles, but a lot of countries will be banning the internal combustion engine or the sale of new combustion engines. And I'm glad they're sticking with fuel cell because I think that's a much more long-lasting technology. Once we figure out how to make green hydrogen, we don't have to keep destroying the earth for massive 100 kilowatt hour batteries, etc. We need much smaller batteries for the hydrogen fuel cell vehicle batteries. So that is a good thing. Now the goal is full electrification by 2040, just like Honda came out with like a month ago. Now Hyundai, which includes Kia and Genesis, aims to sell 1 million EVs per year by 2025 to achieve a 10% share in the global EV market. They want to be at the top. They want to be fighting with Tesla. They want to be fighting with Volkswagen and General Motors for that top spot in electric vehicles. And here we have it. Hyundai has stopped developing new powertrains for the internal combustion engine cars, one of these sources said. It doesn't come as a surprise. They're just one of many that are just like, okay, we've reached our maximum capacity. It doesn't make sense to dump millions and millions and hundreds of millions of dollars in some cases into getting the last percentage or two out of internal combustion engines when we won't even be able to sell them in some places in 10 to 15 years. Stellantis said that it is no longer investing in combustion engines. Daimler, which is obviously Mercedes-Benz, saying that their current series of internal combustion engines will last them until full electrification takes over. We know Volvo is going fully electric by 2030. Ford will be fully electric in Europe by 2030. So what is going to be on the chopping block for Hyundai? I'm over at Car Figures, which is going to give us sales numbers for each individual model here. I mean, half of these are going to be gone in theory by what I'm saying is 2030. So let's dig into the first model, the Accent, which is their smallest vehicle. If you look at competitors to this vehicle, let's say like the Honda Fit as well as the Toyota Yaris, both of those have already been canceled here in the United States. So this segment seems to be dying. Scrolling down to the sales here, holy smokes. It peaked in 2016 for the Accent with 80,000 vehicles. This thing's gone. This is going to be one of the first models for Hyundai to kill off due to poor sales, and they're probably not making a lot of money on this really low price of entry vehicle. I mean, that's why Honda and Toyota killed their competitors in this segment. So yeah, rest in peace Accent. And it doesn't help that sedans aren't doing that great to begin with. So Accent's going to be on the chopping block for sure. Now Elantra, they just redesigned the Elantra for 2021 and I reviewed it. I quite liked the interior on that vehicle. 2020 wasn't good to anyone, but the Elantra sales really dipped. Here in 2021, I expect it to rebound, but it's never going to hit 250,000 units that it hit like in 2013. It's probably never ever going to get past, 150,000 units ever again. I wouldn't expect, especially with their crossovers in their lineup and other competition from even the Kia side of things with like the Seltos. How I see the Elantra is that it'll finish out this product cycle, get a refresh in a few years, and then it'll be dead by 2026, 2027, or as long as they want to push it out. But this vehicle is probably going to be on the chopping block as well. I mean, sedans. Look, Ford canceled all their sedans. A lot of people have canceled their sedans. Ioniq, well, this car is disappearing because they're turning Ioniq into a full electric brand, kind of how they changed the Genesis model into a full luxury brand. Hyundai's been pretty successful at turning a model into a brand, which is good for them, But this vehicle is absolutely gone in the next year or so as Ioniq brand supplants the Ioniq model. Hyundai Kona, I don't expect this model to go anywhere anytime soon. This sells really well for them. It's a very hot segment. It's only been out for a few years. They sell 76,000 of these, but guys, once they cancel the Elantra and the Sonata eventually, I feel like this vehicle will hang on to those sedan-like sales, as well as the Venue we'll talk about in a little bit. But this vehicle isn't going anywhere. They can hybridize it. They can turn it into an electric vehicle. Obviously, they already have the Kona EV, but that's been recalled. It's costing them like hundreds of millions of dollars due to that battery recall on the Kona because it's been blowing up. It's capable of being a decent EV if that battery is safe. Next vehicle is the Nexo. Well, we know that they're going heavy into hydrogen. Who knows? What if they come out with their own hydrogen lineup called the Nexo, like the Nexo 5, kind of like the Ioniq 5. They could come up with their own hydrogen fuel cell brand, but the Nexo isn't going anywhere, even though they don't sell any. If you want to see how bad sales are on a Nexo, guys, I mean, 200. They sold 200 last year. Cool vehicle. I saw one. It was Alex in Autos. He has a Hyundai Nexo, and I saw it at the Acura TLX Type S event. I'm like, what in the world? I've never seen a hydrogen vehicle before. So that was really cool. Really geeked out over that. But yeah, the Nexo isn't going anywhere as Hyundai, BMW, Toyota, amongst others. There's really not that many, but they're really investing heavily in hydrogen fuel cell. Hyundai Palisade, this isn't going anywhere. This thing they're going to keep around as long as they can. The sales on it are going to crest 100,000 units this year easily. This thing is a cash cow for them, just like the Kia Telluride is as well. Santa Fe, this isn't going anywhere. Look at the sales numbers. They just had a big update on the vehicle, and looking at sales numbers, I mean, even last year, they still sold over 100,000 units. So this vehicle is going to be A-okay. This will be one of the longer lasting vehicles like the Palisade, like the Kona, and the Sonata. I believe the Catfish El Bagre is going to be the last Sonata. They have the Corolla, they have the Tucson, they have the Venue, they have SUVs, and they have the Kona. They have SUVs. They don't need to have this sedan, and I feel like it's only a matter of time before they cancel their full sedan lineup. Look at the death of the Sonata. Look at this, guys. Peaking in 2012 with 230,000 units, and then in 2019, 87, 2020, 76, and it had a redesign in 2020. So yeah, even with a redesign, the sales are still going down. This thing will probably get a refresh in a few years. Hopefully it keeps its catfish looks, because even though I think it's ugly, it's unique. Nothing else looks like it, and I think that's badass. So more likely refresh like the Elantra in just a few years, and then they give it a few more years after that, and then they kill all of their sedans. Accent, Elantra, Sonata, more than likely gone if they're going to be canceling half of their internal combustion cars. That makes the most sense to me. Tucson isn't going anywhere. I mean, they just redesigned it with those cool waterfall cascading lights. And look at the sales here. I mean, it peaked in 2018, but with the new redesign, with its really striking looks, I wouldn't be surprised if it hits 150,000 units for Hyundai. This new Tucson. They also have a new vehicle, the Santa Cruz. That vehicle isn't going anywhere. It just came out, so even though they're killing half of their vehicles in the ICE lineup, they have also just introduced a brand new one. There are no hybrid variants as of yet of the Santa Cruz. So Veloster, obviously this thing is going to be gone. Now that they've switched the N to their other vehicles in their lineup, this might be killed before even the Accent, because this vehicle's sales are just dismal. And I know it's been a racing vehicle for them. If they have the Lancia N and inline vehicles, as well as the Sonata inline, the things like that, they don't need the Veloster anymore. And they also have the Kona. Don't forget the Kona. They can turn that into a racing car, drop it. You know, that could be like a hot hatch, even though they call it a hot SUV. That's a possibility as well. So even though it sold less than 8,000 vehicles last year, it's never been a hot seller for them. It's a very niche car. It's a sport car. It's a two-door hatchback sort of thing. And it's going to be gone in the next few years. But that's okay. Hyundai's kind of hedged their bets. They have end products already existing outside of the Veloster N, so they'll be fine there. Hyundai Venue, I think it's kind of cute. I like the design of it. I actually like the looks of this more than the Kona. So this thing is pretty new to the lineup. We've only had it for pretty much a year. I mean, it looks like they sold some in 2019. Maybe it was available in December or something. But in 2020, they sold 20,000 units, and this is even less expensive than the Kona, so while providing a little bit more versatility, I believe. So I find this Venue to be pretty charming. I do like the looks of it. I think it's cute. And this thing, if it sold 20,000 roughly in 2020, wouldn't be surprised if it doubles in 2021. And this thing is going to continue to sell well for Hyundai. Veloster's gone. Accent, Elantra, Sonata. That's 4 models. If we go back to this page here, they said half of their internal combustion cars. What else is left? Maybe they cancel the Kona because the Venue seems to be less expensive and more versatile, but the Kona just got the yen, so I don't see the Kona, and it got a refresh as well. So I don't know what else on this list could be canceled because their crossovers just sell so well. So I think they're just going to kill all their sedans as well as the Veloster. That makes the most sense to me. But guys, I'll end it there. What do you think about the destruction of the lineups across the auto industry as we know it? Hyundai being one of the first for us to hear that they're canceling 50% of their ICE cars. It doesn't mean that Hyundai is going to have less models. It just means that they're going to have probably their best-selling crossovers that still run on ICE and hybrids, and then they're going to have their Ioniq lineup, which are fully electric, and then they're going to have some sort of Nexo hydrogen fuel cell representation. So it'll be interesting to see how their brand lineup changes in the next few years. If you enjoyed today's video, smash the like button, subscribe for more Korean auto news. I'll catch you guys in the next video, and peace out.